What if there was an island so isolated that the people living there had no knowledge of the modern world? An island where time has seemingly stood still for thousands of years, untouched by civilization. Any attempt to make contact is met with deadly force. In November 2018, an American missionary, John Allen Chau, set out on a dangerous journey to this forbidden island, North Sentinel Island, hoping to spread his faith. But what happened next shocked the world. Was it a mission of faith, or was it reckless interference? What makes the Sentinelese tribe so fiercely protective of their isolation? And why has the Indian government banned all contact with them? Join us as we uncover the untold history of one of the last uncontacted tribes on Earth. In November 2018, a 26-year-old American missionary named John Allen Chau chose to illegally venture to North Sentinel Island, which is part of India. The people residing on this island, known as the North Sentinelese Tribe, are considered one of the last uncontacted tribes in the world. This implies that their awareness of the outside world is extremely limited. John, being a devout Christian, was so devoted to his faith that he felt a strong urge to introduce Christianity to the islanders. He initially traveled to a nearby island, where he bribed a fisherman with 25,000 Indian rupees to bring him near the restricted island. On the night of November 14th, 2018, they departed, carefully avoiding the coast guards under the cover of darkness. With him, he carried a GoPro camera, a pair of scissors, a kayak for the final leg of the journey, some dried fish, a football, and a Bible as an offering. On the morning of November 15th, upon reaching the island, he instructed the fisherman to stay at a distance while he paddled toward the shore in his kayak. As he neared the land, he noticed huts and overheard women talking. Just as he was about to step onto the shore, he saw two Sentinelese men approaching with bows and arrows. He greeted them by saying, "My name is John. I love you, and Jesus loves you. Jesus Christ has given me the authority to come to you. Here is some fish for you." The two men immediately raised their bows, prepared to shoot. Overcome with fear, John swiftly turned and paddled away. Hours later, he attempted once again, this time heading towards the island's northern shore. From afar, he saw 6 Sentinelese individuals looking in his direction and shouting, seemingly trying to communicate. Since neither party could understand the other's language, John tried imitating the syllables he heard, calling them back. The islanders, however, laughed at his efforts. Determined, John proceeded cautiously. From a safe distance, he set down the gifts he had brought. Among those present was a child and a young girl, both holding bows and arrows. As he stepped out of his kayak, he attempted to interact with the child. Meanwhile, a Sentinelese man stealthily took his kayak. As John tried to explain Bible verses to the child, an arrow was suddenly fired at his chest. By sheer luck, it struck the Bible he was holding, saving his life. Frightened, John attempted to flee, but without his kayak, he had no choice but to swim back to the fisherman's boat. That night, he wrote in his diary, "Lord, is this island Satan's last stronghold? Is this a place filled with monsters who have never heard your name?" He continued to express his fear. "I don't want to die. I should go back. Lord, I don't want to die." But his devotion had evolved into obsession. He convinced himself that returning to the island was his purpose in life. On November 16th, 2018, he wrote a letter to his family. "You may think I'm crazy, but I believe it is worth it to share Jesus with these people. If I am killed, please do not blame them." After writing this, he set off once more towards North Sentinel Island. This time, he never returned. The fishermen who had taken him there later saw from a distance that the Sentinelese were burying a body on the shore. By recognizing the clothes, he realized that it was John Allen Chau. The Sentinelese were officially contacted by the government for the first time in 1991. Under government supervision, an expedition was carried out, accompanied by security personnel. The tribe's use of bows and arrows has always instilled fear in outsiders. Could their use of these weapons convey an ancient message that modern civilization has long forgotten? North Sentinel Island is one of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, a region that consists of 572 islands in total. Out of these, only 38 are inhabited, and just 12 are accessible to tourists. The islands are categorized into 3 districts: North and Middle Andaman, South Andaman, and Nicobar. with Port Blair serving as the capital. North Sentinel Island is a small landmass spanning 60 square kilometers, covered by dense forests, and located about 50 kilometers from Port Blair. The people residing there are referred to as the North Sentinelese, but this is a designation given to them by outsiders. We do not know how they refer to themselves or what name they have for their tribe. Anthropologists suggest that approximately 70,000 years ago, humans migrated from Africa in what is known as the Out of Africa theory. The earliest modern humans originated from Africa, and it is believed that the people currently living on North Sentinel Island are direct descendants of these early migrants. This group initially traveled from East Africa to Yemen, then made their way to the Indian subcontinent, eventually spreading to Myanmar, Southeast Asia, East Asia, and eventually reaching remote islands, including Australia. Over the course of thousands of years, humans in regions such as the Middle East, India, and Southeast Asia intermingled due to easy land access. However, those who settled on remote islands remained completely cut off from other populations. The North Sentinelese are believed to have arrived on their island between 10,000 and 30,000 years ago and have been entirely isolated since then. This suggests that they never developed agriculture. While farming emerged around 12,000 years ago, the Sentinelese either never found it necessary or were entirely unaware of its existence. This makes them one of the last remaining Stone Age tribes, continuing to live as hunter-gatherers. Instead of cultivating crops, they rely on foraging for fruits, hunting animals, and fishing for sustenance. The Sentinelese are considered the most isolated tribe in the world, fiercely defending their isolation. Any attempts made by outsiders to establish contact have often resulted in violent encounters. The earliest recorded descriptions of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands date back to the 2nd century AD, when Roman mathematician Claudius Ptolemy referred to them as the Islands of Cannibals. However, this description applied to the entire Andaman and Nicobar Islands rather than specifically to North Sentinel Island. In 673 AD, a Chinese traveler sailing from Sumatra to India reported that the islanders were cannibals who consumed human flesh. Similar accounts were made by Arab traders visiting the islands in the 8th and 9th centuries. Furthermore, in the 11th century, inscriptions in a temple built during the reign of Rajaraja Chola also described these islands as impure and inhabited by cannibals. Specific mentions of North Sentinel Island first appeared in 1771 when an East India Company ship passed by and observed lights on the island. Another significant record came in 1867 when an Indian merchant ship carrying approximately 100 passengers ran aground near the island. The survivors were attacked by the Sentinelese, but were fortunate enough to escape with the help of the British Royal Navy. This was the first documented instance of the Sentinelese actively repelling intruders.